Hi everyone, Chef Diane from Farm Box Kids. Thanks so much for cooking along with me today. Again, we have another 30-minute or less recipe that will increase your kitchen skills that you'll use for a lifetime. So today we are making watermelon agua frescas. Agua fresca means fresh water in Spanish. And it's a wonderful, refreshing, light drink that you'll want to drink all summer long. And I'm also going to show you how to pick the perfect watermelon. So it's watermelon season. It's a great time to know how to find the right melon. So hello everyone. I'm so glad to cook along with you today. Let's go ahead and get started with our hand washing. And while you're at it, your watermelon should be washed too. So if you haven't rinsed off your watermelon, rinse it in cold water. You can dry it with a paper towel. And then we're going to go ahead and talk about the ingredients. I have some paper towels right here. My watermelon's still a little bit wet, and I don't want it to be wet because then it will be slippery and I might cut myself when I'm trying to cut my watermelon up. Now, if you've already cut up your watermelon, that's fine. I'm just going to show you a tip that makes it a little bit easier. So I'll show you what we've got today. You need 6 cups. I wrote 6 pounds of watermelon on the website. It's 6 cups of fresh watermelon. We're going to cut this up, and before we do that, I want to talk to you about the watermelon and what kind of things you want to do when you're looking for a watermelon. You need some ice water. So I've got about 4 cups. So I'm just going to keep that so I can adjust the consistency of my agua fresca. I have 1 lime for juicing and 1 lime I'm going to use for my garnish. And then agave nectar. And then, of course, you've got your blender. I'm using a Vitamix today. We'll talk about blending as soon as we get there. I've got a big knife, so I can cut my watermelon and get it ready for little hands. And then a small knife for when you're actually cutting up your melon. You want an adult to help you cut the initial cuts of the watermelon. So hope everyone's ready to get started. Hand wash all your equipment. Ready to go. I've got some glasses here too, so I can taste and then I can adjust how I want my agua frescas to turn out. So let me move this out of the way and then we can get started. Oh, tablespoon and a juicer. You don't have to have a juicer. You can just use your hands. All right. So yesterday I selected this watermelon, and the cashier who rang me up said I had picked a perfect one, and this is how he explained it to me. What you always want to do is find a yellow field spot. So this is the spot that was sitting in the field while the watermelon was ripening and getting all those juices and sugars, making it fresh and juicy. So this one has a nice yellow field spot. And then the second thing is you look for more of a rounded watermelon. He said that was the female watermelon versus the ones that are more elongated aren't as sweet. And so the rounder ones are sweeter. Then on the stem side, you look for a brown stem. If it's green, it means it's been taken off of the vine too soon. So you want to have that brown spot. Another thing that you want to have is a nice heavy melon for its size. So this one's probably about 10 pounds. It feels super heavy, and that means it's full of juices. And then if you look at your watermelon skin, there's netting along there. What that is, it's bees were attracted to the sweetness of this melon while it was ripening, and they leave little, they say bee stings. They're not really bee stings. It's just something that happens when they pollinate. But we have lots of netting on here, lots of these little bee stings. So I know this is going to be a nice, fresh, juicy watermelon, just the way that you want your watermelon to be. We're going to go ahead and start cutting, but let me just say hello to some of my friends that are watching. I have the Jocelyn girls, I have Anya, and I have Henderson. Hi, Henderson. So another thing about these watermelon agua frescas is when we do kids camp, they're everyone's favorite. So that's why I selected this recipe today, because it really is a favorite keeper. It's my daughter's favorite thing to make when it's watermelon season. So, all right. Oh, you know what? I just thumped my melon. That is something that you can do also. My friend used to say if you thump it and it sounds like a dog barking, that is the right way to pick the melon. But I done research, and really thumping it doesn't tell you all the other things, all the other elements. So brown here, field spot. First thing we're going to do is we're going to have an adult cut your watermelon in half. This one has kind of a flat spot, so I'm lucky that I'm going to be able to get this. And it's a little bit tricky to get this big watermelon cut in half, so you need to use your largest chef knife. Then go ahead and make your indentation and just get ready to commit to going all the way down. You might have to turn it a little bit. Just get those fingers and thumbs out of the way. Let's go here. And now I have it cut in half. And now I can get my flat side down to make it easier to cut it. So flat side down, holding with your claw grip, you're gonna cut off the end, the rind, and that's gonna just go right straight into your compost bin. And then cut it into about 1.5 2-inch slices. As I said, some of you might have already cut your watermelon up, but cutting it like this, getting it ready for smaller hands makes it a lot easier. Having a sharp knife is really imperative. So this should be about 6 cups. I'll save this for later. And now you can see I have some flat slices I can put down here. And then you can use your smaller chef knife to cut off the rind. And then we're going to cut this into about 2-inch cubes. Try to get all the white rind off because it's not as sweet. And maybe you can just take a sliver and smell it. You'll smell the sweetness and the freshness and taste it. And this is nice and sweet. So I have cubes about this size. I put them in my blender cup. I'm using a Vitamix blender. You could use any kind of blender that you have. And cut this into. So 6 cups, you should be able to see the 6 cups on your blender. It will tell you when you've gotten to about 6 cups, it's going to be about here. Should make 4 Agua Frescas. I have a story to tell about cutting up watermelon. My friend Lillian Sweener, sometimes she's on here with her son Jack. My friend Lillian Sweener and I used to cut up like 25 watermelons every year for the school carnival. So we do a fundraiser every year at the school carnival. And she made the most delicious, perfect watermelon slices. She's just so exact with her cutting. Hi, Lori. Hi, Liz. Are you watching or are the boys? You can also substitute cantaloupe, honeydew melon, whatever fresh fruit you find. It's important to have it fresh, not overripe. And here we go. A little bit more than 6 cups, but all right. So the next thing that's going to go in is agave syrup. So this is a syrup that's made from the agave plant, and it's naturally sweet. And if you don't have this, you could use honey or you can use simple syrup. So simple syrup is a combination of sugar and water, equal parts, cooked until the sugar melts into the liquid. And if you do make simple syrup, you have to make sure it's cold before you put it in. So we're going to put in 1 tablespoon of agave nectar, and you might have to adjust it at the end, depending on the sweetness of your watermelon. So here I've got 1 tablespoon. And then you're going to need 1 tablespoon of fresh lemon juice, lime juice. You use lemon juice if you like. If the lime is too sour for you, you can leave that out as well. If the agave is too sweet for you, you could leave that out as well. And that's a tablespoon and a half of a lime. And then the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna start with 1 cup of ice water. So I'm just gonna go 1 cup here, and I'm gonna let the ice chunks fall in there as well. And then here's my mixer, my blender. So one thing that's really important with your blender is you always want to start it on the lowest speed. So my speed is 1. Yours might say blend, mix, chop. It might have like a little suggestions on how to blend this up. Mine just starts at 1. And then you're going to make sure that you slowly increase the speed of the blender. Always put the top on, hold on to it with your hand before you turn it on. And then if you need a stool, go ahead and get a stool so you can get your hand on there. And again, we're going to go first with slow. And then I can slowly increase the speed. I want to get all the solids of the watermelon blended up really well. And again, before you turn it on, you want to take it down to that level. So I blended it for about 40 seconds. And now I have a liquidy juice. And some recipes say to strain this. Some recipes say to serve it over ice. I already have nice cold ice water and ice cubes in there. After you've mixed it up, I don't see any reason to strain this. All the solids are blended up in there, and it is a watery consistency. I don't see any reason to add any more water to this, but if you have a more fibrous watermelon, you might need to add a little bit more water. And then you taste it. It tastes so refreshing and delicious and sweet. I'm gonna put a little tiny bit more lime juice and agave nectar in mine. And you can adjust yours how you feel like the flavor should be. And then we're gonna make a garnish. A little bit more. There we go. Give it that final blend. And then we're gonna make it picture perfect. All right. Hello, Griffin. Nice to see you. So there's my watermelon agua fresca. It's best to drink these right away, but if you aren't able to drink them right away, you can keep them in the fridge for a day. We have a lime as our garnish. So here's a little tip I learned in bartending school. Cut off the ends because you don't want to have your guests see the rough edges of the lime. And then you're going to cut a little cut in it. Not all the way through. You're just going to cut it so it's only halfway through the lime. And then you're going to take your claw grip and cut it into slices. So the reason why I made that first cut, I'm going to show you in just a second. I made the first cut, so now I have this to hang on my glass. So there we go. Refreshing, delicious, something you can drink all summer long. Watermelon agua fresca. I hope you enjoy it. I will see you next week. Thanks so much for cooking along with me today. Bye.